At the turn of the century, there were 76 million people in America. The majority of them lived on farms or in small towns, where they relied on gaslight and horsepower.
Every morning the milkman came, and the cream at the top would rise, and if you got there early, you could take a lick of the cream before your mother found out what you were doing.
It was the great period of the front porch. In the evenings after dinner, the family would assemble on the front streets. Sometimes the neighbors would pass and we exchanged bows. We played games, I Spy and Run Sheep Run, and Lemonade, What Was Your Trade?
Tennis rackets were hefty and the racket faces elliptical. Women were stouter then. They visited the fleet carrying white parasols. Everyone wore white in summer. That was the style. That was the way people lived.
But the rhythm of American life was quickening in the early years of the century as more and more people headed for the cities, for the bright lights and the myriad opportunities.
I was 4 years old when I came to Chicago. It was a real magical thing to see the streetcars moving up and down and the street filled with people all the time and great activities going on. And I recall looking at it with wonder.
The cities, New York City more than most, were centers for the latest engineering and technological marvels.
The skyscraper is born in that time, a completely new building form, a completely new idea that a city could grow up instead of out.
It's an amazing sight to me. I saw the Flatiron Building. I saw the Woolworth Tower. It's a very stunning view, how a building can pierce the sky.
And underground, there was a new way to travel. In New York City, the subway was inaugurated in 1904. One could ride the subway to the outskirts of the city, where the power of science and technology was harnessed for pursuit of a good time. Tens of thousands of New Yorkers went every day and night to Coney Island.
When I came there, my brothers immediately treated me to a hot dog, Nathan's. I dove right into the water. I tasted all over me the salt of the sea. I was baptized by nature. It was the kind of freedom that I never dreamt that I could have.
That sense of freedom was also spread by the availability of ideas. In the early part of the century, some 9,000 public libraries in the country dispensed information freely and democratically.
One man said to me, "Alfred, do you know that there's a library on 42nd Street?" I says, "I do, but I was never there." He says, "That's where you belong. You'll get all the literature in the world, and it doesn't cost you a dime." I read an immense number of books because I wanted to understand the American people's minds. I wanted to be completely American and forget all of my past.
Immigrants themselves bringing new languages and customs were making the culture of the city just that much more diverse.
The immigrant nourishment this nation has always had, the incoming people, has been an extremely important part of our vitality, our ingenuity. It's like aerating the stream of life here.
Early in this century, 1 in 3 residents of major American cities had been born somewhere else. New York had twice as many Irish as Dublin, and Chicago had more Poles than Warsaw.
We had Polish people, we had Irish people, we had Jewish people, and we had Italian people. And they were all friendly, and we were all in the same boat. None of us had any money.
My grandparents, the only place they can get rooms, literally, was on Elizabeth Street, which is where my mother was born. The apartment was 2.5 rooms, 3 rooms, and maybe 14 people were living in it. And at night, it looked like, you know, hospital ward, I would think, with all these beds and all these people sleeping in these different beds.
There were no bathrooms, they were toilets. They were in the hallway. But my mother and father thought that this was wonderful because in the old country, the toilets were in the backyard. And the fact that in the kitchen, we had not only running water so that you didn't have to go to the well for water, but we had hot water. My mother, every week that she did the wash, she said, how wonderful we have hot water.
Steadily rising income and declining work hours meant that for the first time, even working class people could go out in search of entertainment. 5 cents bought a ticket to the newest entertainment phenomenon, moving pictures.
We were so taken with the nickel shows. 2 of us would beg to be admitted by sitting on one seat.
The earliest movies, introduced simultaneously in France and the United States in the 1890s, were simple tableaux of anything that moved, either make-believe or what was called actuality. In 1903 came the first American film that actually told a story, The Great Train Robbery, a Western filmed in New Jersey. Its huge success made it clear that fiction was what the audience wanted most.
There was comedies. And then there was The Pearls of Pauline, which was a serial that went on every Saturday afternoon. Every week she was in a situation. A lot of kids, it wasn't a movie to them, it was actuality.
Beginning in 1910, Americans were also seeing newsreels from around the world.
It's coming as a great force for mass entertainment and for mass culture. There is this sense of possibility, the sense of openness, the sense of widening the horizons. What it does is it opens the world.